What you're currently looking at on the screen right now is what's known as my CryptoNova algorithm. It basically tells me when to buy perfect market bottoms and sell tops. Well, when I say perfect, they're not like spot on, but they're pretty good, as you can see on the screen. But overall, I found a few flaws which were within my investing system, and it's a few flaws that I'm basically just going to go over now to help you spot out some of these flaws within your own investing system, and will overall help you become, number one, a better investor, but number two, have a better overall system. So without further ado, let's just go straight into it. The first one I really found that I ran into within the system was aiming for perfection. That isn't how you spell perfection, but we'll just go with it. Aiming for perfection, right, is something that in the market which is just overall just foolish unless you have a track record which literally says you've been able to sell on that, you put in a short order in the market at precisely this top over here, right, this candle here, and you were able to basically short the entirety of all of this, right, and you were able to long the exact bottom, which was 15,500, right? Unless you have a track record that says like you have been perfect, then fine, I'll believe you. But overall, most people don't really have that type of track record, right? You just don't, right? So because you don't have that much of a track record, what you're trying to aim for, which is perfection within the market, is foolish, because the truth is you will never be perfect in the market, right? Like, you don't know that this was the exact bottom. You know, I took a guess that this was the exact bottom. Along with over here, I took a guess that it was, because I'll be honest with you, my entire system is just a guessing game, but on a probabilistic scale, right? Like, you don't know for certain where the bottom or top is. What you can do, though, is look at your options and say, well, okay, if we buy here, so we put in a buy order there, what's the maximum it can really go down from here? Well, we know we're in a bull market, right? I doubt we're going to see a very heavy decline, because we've already had like a 20% decline from there. Therefore, the maximum we could really see it go down is maybe another like 10, maybe 20% maximum, right? Like, that's the maximum we could see it go down. Our risk to reward is in our favor, because we know on a probabilistic scale, because this is what I did with my team, I saw on a probabilistic scale that upside was the most probabilistic, right, and downside was very minimal. Don't get me wrong, it was still a probability, but the upside was a lot more in percentage gain than it was to the downside. Therefore, we went long. And I think you're beginning to really picture the idea that aiming for perfection is just foolish, and you'll just never, ever end up doing it, ever, right? So, aiming for perfection, one main flaw. Another flaw I found, which kind of ties into aiming into perfection, was buying bottoms was easy, selling tops was hard, right? And the whole reason behind this is because basically what our algorithm is we've basically taken this concept that, basically taking the fact that 99% of day traders fail. There we are. So we find out what the 99%, so we know that 99% of all day traders fail. We find out what the 99% do, and we simply just do the opposite. And one of those tools is known as funding data. Now, I'm not going to go into what funding data is, just quite simply because it is quite complex. But very simply, in a very simple tool, it basically tells us what the 99% of day traders do. So whenever we've seen them going short over here, we went long. And whenever we saw them going really long over here, well, we sold or we shorted. right? Now, because of this, a quite natural thing to the market was buying bottoms was very easy, right? Just quite simply because like the main point of the 99% is the 99% are very emotional, right? And whenever they lose a lot of money, they feel this intent of like, oh, you know what, fuck you. I'm just gonna go all in. I'm just gonna short the market. Market's going to zero. Fuck the market. Fuck the market. Which just doesn't make sense in my opinion. Yeah, but selling the tops was on the other scale because selling tops was again, it didn't really say when people were getting into the market that well, which is why we've now changed our approach to selling tops, which some people can come along and say it's cope. Like you can say whatever you want about it. This is just personally what I think is best for our type of system that we run. Right? So in our algorithm, we currently have two different types of cells. I'm just going to go over the heavy cell. So instead of just having a heavy cell when we think the market's just going to go down, what we're doing now is we're looking at a bit more of a longer approached view of the market, right? We're looking on like the monthly, as everyone else is looking at the daily and weekly, right? And well, matter of fact, let's go that bit further. Let's look at the yearly, right? The crypto market, along with Bitcoin within of itself, has overall shown a quite decent repeating pattern, which is we have 3 years up, 1 year down. So 1, 2, 3, 1 year down. 1, 2, 3. Probably go somewhere like here, and then next year will be down. And then 1, 2, and then the third one is always the biggest, which is 3, and then next year will be down, right? And that pattern will just repeat, and repeat, right? So what we're doing now is instead of trying to capture the exact top, right, which is again aiming for perfection, what we're doing now is we're simply just waiting for a very strong downtrend within of a market regime, which is, I kind of guess, if I was running the algorithm back over here, right, I could have seen, okay, market regime, quite heavy, strong down signal here. Therefore, I could have put in a sell signal of sell everything here, right, get out the market, accumulate capital for the next bull market, right? And don't get me wrong, fine, I would have missed out on another 100%. But which one would you prefer, right? To settle for less and be happy that you made, right? Let's say you got in down here, sold there. Which one are you most happy with? The scenario where you've made 16x, right? 1,600%, or the one where you're trying to capture the exact top over here, but you don't end up doing it because you're simply just not that guy with a track record, and you keep on waiting and you keep on saying to yourself, but the market's going to bounce, the market's going to bounce. And then what ends up happening? The market ends up going down here. Don't get me wrong, you're still in profit, right? You're still up 3x, but now you've missed 16,000. You've just lost 13. You've just lost 13x, right? Like it's stupid, right? I would most likely prefer to settle for that 11x over there. I personally think that overall is a better scenario for myself, where I get to keep my money going in to the next bear market and into the next bull market in the next few years, right? So those were a few flaws that I basically found within my system, and yeah, and that's basically what I'm going over. with my system now. If you're interested within this system and how it works, I do have a link in the description below if you want to buy it yourself. But yeah, overall, those are a few flaws I found within on my system, and it's a few things that you can look over your own system and think, are these a few things that I'm fucking up on? Because most likely they will be. All right, guys, that's everything. See you later.